Alright, so welcome back. In today's video, I want to show you what the print function can do in Python. So we have the print function. If you have done Python before, you know about the print function, but there's more to the print function than what meets the eye, right? So this is what I want to break down so that you guys can understand. There are quite a number of arguments that we can pass into the print function, but I'm sure most of you just know of maybe one of those arguments. So to find out more information about this print function, there's another function that we can use in Python, which we call help. All right, so I'm going to help and then pass in print inside help. If I save and run, right, so you can see here, we can read this out. It says help on built-in function print. So print, we know it's a built-in function, is inside the built-ins. There's a module in the standard library in Python, which we call the built-ins module. Let's break down this print function. So print here. And so this is the prototype of the print function. It takes in variable number of arguments. That asterisk args, it means variable number of arguments. It also takes a separator, which is by default, it's a space. It also takes in an and, a file, and then a flash. All right, what are all these? First up, we need to understand what the print function does. Prints the values to a string or to sys.standardout, which is the standard output by default. But we have other streams as well where we can print our information. We can print to standard error, we can print to a file, and so those are other streams that we can use. But by default, you can see it says it prints to the standard output. Okay, so let's take our focus to this args, which is the first argument that is passed into the print function. The asterisk or the star simply means it's going to be a variable number. All right, so in Python, apart from variables, which are just object names, and then operators like the plus, the equal sign, the percent sign, every other data is treated as an object. All right, so we cannot obviously print the plus, which is an operator here. If you try to do that, then you have an invalid syntax down here. So those we cannot print, but any other data that is not an operator can be printed with the print function. Let's test the equal sign. We're not going to be able to do double equal sign. If I save and run, you see we cannot, that's an operator. But a variable, for instance, let's say I have a variable called name. A variable is just a name of an object, and our object is going to be this string of characters. So if I try and print name, if I save and run, you can see down here we have Sadson. I'm going to comment this line out, save and run again. You can see we have Sadson here. All right, so yeah, we can print almost anything. We can literally print these characters. So instead of printing name, I could just print Sadson directly into the print function, and I can run this. You can see it's doing the same. All right, so this is how the print function works. It can take any variable number of arguments. Let's look at other collections as well. For instance, let's say I have a list called num. Let me call it nums, and then I have some numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's try and print this. Let's see if print is going to print this out. So if I save and run, you can see down here we have our lists being printed out. So almost anything can be printed out, even a function. If you have a function, you can print it out. Let's try and print itself. So if I print, save and run, you can see it says it's a built-in function here, built-in function print. So almost everything can be printed out except for operators, like I said. So our print function is going to work like that. Let's also try and print some module. So I'm going to import the math module here. So this comes with the standard library. We don't need to install it. As long as we have Python running on our computers, we have access to that math module. So I'm going to print that and see if I save and run. You can see here it says module math built in. can also print an expression. For instance, like 2 plus 2. This can be printed out. Save and run. You can see we have a 4 down here. I also want to mention this. Like we said, we have variable number of arguments, right? So I can print math. I can also print name and nums. I can print these in the same print statement. So I'm going to print math. You have to separate these with a comma. So name, and then what else? Nums, right? So if I save and run, you see down here it gives me the math module here, and then section, which is the name, and then 1 2 3 4 5, which is this list down here. So you can print a variable number of arguments with the print statement. So basically that's it with the first argument. You can also unpack your data. Let's say you have a list and you don't want it to be printed like a list like this. So what I'm going to do is nums is here. Let me remove these other 2 values. So let's say I don't want to print as a list, so let me run it. You can see these square brackets down here. So this is a list. If I want it to be printed as individual values like 1 2 3, I can unpack this by putting an asterisk. So if I save and run, you can see down here the square brackets are gone, the commas are gone, and so it's giving me the individual values 1 2 3 4 and 5. And so basically that's it. All right, so if you enjoyed this tutorial, you can leave a like, follow the channel. I hope to see you in our next tutorial. For now, I'm out. Bye bye.